All right, well, good evening, friends, and welcome to another edition of the Hornet Nation Coaches Show, presented by our good friends at True Texas Barbecue. I'm Rob Hipp, joining you remotely tonight. We hope to be back in person at True Texas Barbecue coming up, of course, next week. But this week, doing it remotely one more time. And again, hey, maybe you're out there watching tonight. Why don't you head over to True Texas Barbecue? They're open. Head over there, get something to eat. You can listen to the show on the way on your phones. Don't watch the video, of course, but you can listen and then enjoy some food as well. Tonight, also, we're just on social media. We'll be back on the radio tomorrow. But as always, a great opportunity to be here as we are in really week 8 of Hornet play, but technically week number 9 as the Hornets will face Lake Creek Lions at Madisonville. We got a great show tonight, so make sure to stay tuned in with us. Josh Criswell's here from the Huntsville Item. We'll talk to Cody McLaren, Coach Southern. Brian Carroll will also have Cam Cole on as well. So just make sure that you stay tuned in. For now, though, bringing in Mr. Josh Criswell himself of the Huntsville Item. Josh, how's it going, man?
Doing well. Good to see you, Rob. Thanks for having me on tonight.
Yeah, you bet. And I wanted to say thank you. I wasn't able to be there last week, but awesome job, man. How was it calling your first game, man, for the Hornets? It went well, man. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, I think that was my first time calling a game since I was in school at DePaul in 2014, calling a women's soccer match. So it was good. Shook the rust off, and after a few early struggles, we finally got cruising. So it was fun, and I appreciate the opportunity.
You bet, man. We'll appreciate you. It's Josh Criswell, the Huntsville Item. Here in a little bit, we'll go back and look at that first week with Coach. But Josh, coming off of a bye week, Hornets defeating Lamar consolidated 49-0 on the road week before last, of course, on November the 6th. 7 sacks by the defense in that game. The defense forced a shutout for the second time this season, only allowing 2 rushing yards, if my math was correct. Recovered a fumble, had an interception, 3rd week in a row holding a team under 100 yards on the ground. And by the way, they've only allowed a team to rush more than 100 once. That was versus C.E. King. The defense is ranked number 1 in the district, only allowing just over 200 yards per game. Lake Creek comes in second in that category, allowing 245, talking about on the ground game. And we talk about A.J. Wilson as well. Success through the air is on the offensive side. 6 different receivers, including Cornelius Lawrence, who had 2 catches, 51 yards, and a score. Josh, just a great game and another good win for the Hornets as they improved to 6-0, undefeated, and holding that lone top spot in the district.
Yeah, 6-0 and number 4 in the state. And I mean, the district's really shaping up to be a really interesting race to the finish too. We're sitting here 3 weeks to go, and I don't think anyone, would have thought that top 4 would be the way it is, especially with the 2 and 3 spots being the 2 Montgomery schools, one of which Huntsville is going to play this Friday in Montgomery Lake Creek. So I think it's a really exciting time of the year. And for Huntsville, if they can go out and get these wins these next 2 weeks, they'll have that district championship locked up.
Well, looking forward to that. We're going to go ahead and take a very brief break. When we come back, we'll talk to head coach Rodney Southern. Stay with us, friends. This is the Hornet Nation Coaches Show right here on KSAM, presented by our good friends at True Texas Barbecue. We'll be right back. All right, friends, welcome back. I'm Rob Hipp, now joined by head coach Rodney Southern of the Huntsville Hornets. Good evening, Coach. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, Coach. Always good to see you. Josh and I talked a little bit about the game, of course, now 2 weeks ago. Boy, it's just amazing how fast time goes by, Coach. Your team improving to 6-0. The week before last, another defensive shutout, this time versus Lamar consolidated. The defense has been great. Really just whatever word is greater than great. That's how they've been this year at stopping the run, Coach. What is attributed to that this season? Your defense has done a great job stopping that run.
Well, I think probably the word that I use a lot with these guys is consistency. They have consistently gotten better every week, and we try as best we can to give as many of the opportunities to credit our kids. But the one thing that sometimes goes unnoticed is how well prepared they are. Scott Schroeder, our defensive coordinator, and our position coaches on defense do a really good job of getting our kids ready every week. And the kids have learned pretty consistently how to take coaching and how to take constructive coaching if it's something that, that's got to be changed. But at the same time, our kids are so bought in right now. They can tell you right now what Lake Creek is going to do. Now, we still got to go stop it. But I thought last week or week before last, I thought they probably played again as consistent. And that's a tough game because that's a game you're supposed to play that way. But our kids are very mature, and our coaching staff's done a great job all year.
Again, we're talking to head coach Rodney Southern of the Huntsville Hornets. Coach, on the offensive side, rushing for 190 yards. The ground game has really helped balance this offense out this season. How impressed have you been with that side of the ball as well?
Well, big thing is, we've probably another consistency thing. Our offensive line has matured, and every week they've gotten a little bit better. There's still some young guys, and they're really young in terms of experience, but they've consistently gotten better every week. And I think AJ's getting a little more comfortable every week. And, every time you go out and play and you have an opportunity to get better, I think these kids have handled that.
Coach, one of the highlights of the game 2 weeks ago against Lamar Consolidated was Jordan Woodbury and his 2 return touchdowns. One of them was among the top 10 plays of the week, by Max Preps nationally. For y'all, Coach, that's not the first time y'all have scored in the return game this year. How big of a part does special teams play in y'all's everyday preparation? Because whenever y'all step out onto the field, it seems like y'all try to take advantage of every opportunity that y'all have, especially on special teams.
Well, a lot of people will tell you they spend a third of their practice time on special teams, and probably 9 out of 10 of those coaches are lying. We try to spend 20 minutes of our practice every day, whether it's morning or afternoon, on at least 2 phases of the kicking game. Because the 2 kicking games that can get you in trouble are your punt and your kickoff return. And we stress those because those are, number one, your punt team's an offensive formation, normally with defensive kids, and you become a defensive team once the ball's kicked. Now, the other night, we were fortunate we didn't have to punt. Our kickoff return, as soon as you run a touchdown back, normally the rest of the year, people quit kicking the ball deep to you. But we've got 2 or 3 guys, Jordan Woodbury being one of them, and Jadarian White's another one, that aren't afraid to go catch the ball. And, we design some of our return stuff around where you're going to kick the ball more than, okay, we need to block these people, because if we can't field it clean, we're not going to get big plays. And, of course, if you kick it to Jordan or to Jadarian right now, they're going to do everything they can to make a big play.
Right. I noticed a few times against Lamar Consolidated, it looked like y'all had Jadarian and Jordan out there kind of split apart. Is that just because to avoid teams to kind of take away that opportunity to kick away from a dangerous return man?
Well, 2 things. Number one, both of them are dangerous. For the last couple of weeks, Justin Butcher's kind of been nursing an ankle, so we're using both of them. We use both of them on punt returns. We use both of them on kickoff returns, because now it forces your hand. You got to do something, and at some point you've either got to kick it to one of them, or you've got to kick it short, and you're giving us the ball on the 35, 40-yard line. And if you're not going to let us return it, then if we can get the ball on the 35-yard line, we should be able to offensively be able to score points.
Right. Coach, you're sitting here 6-0, had the bye week to kind of reflect a little bit. At this point in the season, heading into the home stretch, is there, if you had to single out one game, what's the moment of this season that your team has impressed you the most so far?
Well, the scary part, it might have been the whole A&M Consolidated game, and I wasn't there. So, the way our kids played against A&M, and I didn't get the opportunity to be at practice the whole week. So, for me as the head coach and the person who's got to be responsible for this program, to see our kids and our coaching staff prepare that well and then go out and play that well, that's probably the highlight right now. That, and of course, the 4th down stop against C.E. King has got to be ranked up there, because I've never been a part of one of those.
Well, we're talking to head coach Rodney Southern here. I'm Rob Hipp. Welcome back. And Coach, some takeaways from the previous game versus Lamar Consolidated. You talked about a few things, just some final takeaways from that game. Even in a shutout, there's always an area to improve on. Just some of your ideas on things to improve on heading in now after the bye week this week.
Well, we got to continue to cut down penalties. We've kind of – the one negative, our third quarter is kind of when we've had some penalties. We didn't have a lot the other night, but, the more we can eliminate that, we've also the last 2 weeks, we've deferred or we've lost the coin toss. So we've gotten the ball to start the second half, and we've scored on both of those drives. So, a lot of times, especially when you're pretty good defensively, if you can get a little bit of a lead and then you get the ball on that first drive of the third quarter, that can be one of those drives that can kind of break a team's back, especially if you got a lead, a touchdown or two. So, we'll continue to try to work on those things, but, we just got to continue to get a little bit better in all phases and be prepared for, in a game like this, we hadn't played in 2 weeks, be prepared for the unexpected things that are going to happen on a Friday night.
And Coach, final question before we take a break and then look ahead to this game coming up on Friday. What'd you tell the young men after the game?
Well, big thing, that's the way we're supposed to play in a game like that. When you have a team that hasn't won and hasn't had a lot of success and you're where we were 2 Fridays ago, you're supposed to go play that well and finish a game like that. And the idea of, having success in all 3 phases, of course, Jordan, having those big plays in special teams, those kind of things are things you can build on. And we were also kind of excited to get into an open week. And, we had some guys banged up a little bit. We got some time off to kind of heal their bodies. And, and we've had a great week of practice this week, even though, we're technically not in school. We're all online for the rest of this week. But, our kids have responded so well to everything that's kind of been thrown at them. And I'm excited about, the next 3 games, because obviously the next 2 are going to be critical for us.
Well, Coach, always appreciate your time here in the first segment. We're going to step aside, take a very brief break. When we come back, we'll look ahead to this week as the Hornets facing Lake Creek. We'll be on technically a home game, but on the road in Madisonville is our home stadium for the final 2 home games of this season. Stay with us, friends. We'll be right back here in just a few moments. This is the Hornet Nation Coaches Show. We'll be right back in just a few moments. Stay with us. Well, welcome back, friends, here in the second segment. And again, want to thank our good friends at True Texas Barbecue for helping to make this Coaches Show possible this season. We look forward to being back in person there at True Texas Barbecue and HEB here in Huntsville coming up next week. But as we look ahead here in this second segment, we'll bring Coach Rodney Southern back on. Playing in Madisonville is a home game versus Lake Creek Lions coming up on Friday. The Lions 6-2 overall, 3-1 here in 10-5A Division II. Their only loss in district was to A&M Consolidated 42-28 just a few weeks ago. They stamped out Lamar Consolidated last week 46-0. Coach, playing in Madisonville now, of course, as the home team for the last 2 of the 3 games this season. Just wanted to ask you, and I've asked you before, but maybe some new folks out there, some new audience watching or listening here tonight. Is there any logistical challenges, or is this just kind of business as usual, not being able to finish out the season at Bowers and having to play on the road at Madisonville?
Not really. We went this week and practiced over there last Wednesday and got, the logistical part of how long it takes to get there. Where are we in terms of dressing rooms and things like that? Because we're still going to treat almost the entire thing like a home game. Because I've told several parents that have asked me, I said, well, we get on a bus every Friday night, whether we're leaving the field house to go to Bowers Stadium or we're on a true road game. So this is just a little bit longer of a bus ride. Rusty Nail, the athletic director at Madisonville, has been super in terms of helping us kind of secure everything and have it set up as close to a home game in terms of the atmosphere and the things that are going to happen for us. Our band's going to be in a good position in the end zone. So we're going to have, everything that we need. The only difference is the turf's going to be red and blue instead of orange and blue. So logistically, it's not really a big deal, other than when you got to turn around and drive home and then do all the things you got to do after a game. But I think our kids understand now, after we went over there and practiced, they understand, here's the reason why we have to do this, and it's nobody's fault. It's just the circumstances that Sam Houston's dealing with some renovations, and we're in a situation where we need a place to play. So, we're all going to benefit from it in the long run. So, it'll teach us even more about how we handle the road. But at the same time, Sam Houston's getting a facility upgrade as well.
And Coach, what's nice too is Buc-ee's is right there. Is there going to be a Buc-ee's stop by any way, coming or going, Coach? Maybe on the way back?
Yeah, we're going to take the spur off and sneak in the back door. We're not going down to Buc-ee's.
Gotcha. Well, we're talking to Coach Southern here in our second segment as we look ahead to this Friday. Coach, Lake Creek leading the district in offense. They're averaging just over 487 yards a game. They have the number one rushing offense in the district, but are facing a Hornet team, as you know, of course, and all of us know, that has the top-rated rushing defense in the district, only allowing 311 yards total on the ground all season. That's not per game. That's not over a couple of games. That's the entire season. The Hornets have only allowed 311 yards on the rushing side. Coach, do you expect to see more of a passing presence maybe from Lake Creek? They know how good this Hornet defense is.
Well, I think, there's a couple situations. 2 weeks ago, they lost their quarterback and their big tight end. Now, we don't know whether the tight end's going to play or not, because at one point he was leading the district in receptions. Both of those kids were really, really good football players. They played the other night against Lamar Consolidated. They played a sophomore quarterback who has done a really good job stepping into that role. Their running back he's deceptive, because when you see him, he's not going to be the biggest guy, but at the point of attack, he is fast, he is physical, and he's not afraid to lower his head, but he can also bounce the ball outside and be effective running. So, obviously what happens there is more or less not the running back or our secondary necessarily. It's, how well can we control the line of scrimmage? They've done a pretty good job all year long of being able to line up and run the football, but the threat with their other quarterback, because he was a big, 6'6" kid with a very strong arm. This sophomore is not quite as mobile, but he's done a really good job in the circumstances that he was kind of thrown in. So I don't know that we'll see that much more passing. I think they're going to stay with what they do. But when you play in a situation where they played last week and we didn't, there's going to be something happening this week that we're probably not going to be prepared for. But hopefully our kids will be able to handle it and adjust on the sideline.
Coach, you mentioned Lake Creek going with a sophomore quarterback stepping in, last week. With that being the case, how pivotal is it for that defensive line to really get in the backfield and start providing pressure to kind of rattle him early on in the game?
Well, the big thing is, again, if our front four can do what they've been doing most of the year, and that's control the line of scrimmage, now you make them a little bit more one-dimensional. And obviously, if you take a sophomore with pressure in his face and he's having to throw the football a lot, you would hope that would be to our benefit. But I think what they're going to do is they're going to put him in some good situations in terms of formations, and the run plays and play action is probably a little more than they have in the past. And, when you see a team like this, especially with a young guy, you expect screens, you expect things on the perimeter to get away from our line, and it gets the ball out of his hands a little bit quicker. So, we're prepared for all that, but you also know that, they're in the same situation we're in. We're all trying to play right now for a district championship, and their life's on the line just like ours will be on the line. So there's probably not a whole lot that I wouldn't expect them to try. But again, if we can control the line of scrimmage with our front guys, we always feel pretty good about it.
Right. You mentioned, y'all are going to be chasing that district championship, and with a win this week against Lake Creek and another one next week against Montgomery, y'all be able to do that. Coach, at this point in the season, 6-0, have an undefeated season going on. Where would you rate the team's level of focus right now at this point in the season?
Well, I think when you look at it, Josh, the stuff that's been thrown at them, like we were in school Monday, we lifted Monday morning, Monday afternoon, we went to practice. I got an email and a phone call from Dr. Shepard that we were going to go virtual on Tuesday. I told our kids, what time are we going to practice Tuesday morning? They said 7:15, and they rolled in Tuesday morning ready to go. They were there early this morning. We lifted, got a good practice, got a good film session. We'll bring them in tomorrow and kick the field. So, as far as focus and handling the crazy stuff that potentially is going to happen. And it's also good for us because obviously next week's Thanksgiving break and there's no school. So we're going to continue with our morning practices because I want them to have opportunities next week to obviously spend time with their families or whatever they need to do in terms of Thanksgiving. So, from a focus standpoint, Josh, this group's been very mature, even though some of them are really, really young in terms of football age. But I think because we're so mature defensively, I think all that bleeds over, and confidence is a big thing. And I think these kids are very, very confident right now. I think our coaching staff is confident, not in a bad way, but confident because we feel good about where we are.
And, just one last question for you. Looking a little bit ahead of just next week, but, Dr. Shepard last night at the school board meeting brought up the proposal for a potential 8,000-seat stadium on the Huntsville High School campus. Coach, you've been doing this as a coach and administrator for, almost 2 decades now in the state of Texas. For a school district and for, particularly an athletics and football program, how important is it to have your own home and to have that kind of facility that you can call your own?
Well, the big thing is, everybody's been talking for 2 weeks now because we're going to Madisonville to play a game. So, the fact that Huntsville High School for ever how many years has been playing either at Pritchard Field or at Bauer Stadium, just to have a place that's yours. And this is a little bitty thing, but I think it is a big thing sometimes for kids, to have your end zone be green and white versus orange. And there's nothing wrong with orange, obviously, because we're partners with Sam Houston. But just to have a facility, number one for us and for our kids, but number two for this community, because the things that this opportunity is going to present for not only our kids, but for our community, the amount of games we're going to be able to host, the variety of things from soccer tournaments to band contests. We can't host a band contest. If we are able to pull this off and we can do those kinds of things, that brings, number one, it brings revenue into our community, but it also is something that I think this district and I think this community, if we do it right, we'll be very proud of because it'll be ours.
Again, we're talking to Coach Rodney Southern here, the Huntsville Hornets. Coach, just kind of going back here as we look ahead, final before we let you go, just the overall health of the team. I always like to ask you that every week. Now we've got 6 games under our belt, so just the overall health of the team. You had mentioned earlier about going over to Madisonville and maybe just about how the practices have been so far this week as well, Coach.
Well, we took last week, of course, after the win, I gave them Saturday and Sunday. Of course, we don't do anything on Sunday. I gave them Saturday off. We came in Monday and worked out really hard, watched film, and then I gave them Monday afternoon off as well. So we practiced Tuesday of last week here. We went to Madisonville Wednesday afternoon and practice. We had a really good practice Thursday, and then we got a chance as coaches to go watch Lake Creek live against Lamar Consolidated. And then I had a chance Friday night to go watch Montgomery beat A&M Consolidated. So we got a chance to see both of our next 2 opponents. So, our kids have handled all of the unusual things in terms of practice. Practice this week, like I said, Monday was normal. Tuesday we went remote. So we practiced in the morning. This morning was probably one of our best practices. I think our kids they understand. We've talked about the COVID situation, that, things are going to be probably unusual for the rest of this football season. So they've handled it really well. Our coaching staff has handled it well. Our trainers have done a really good job from the very start in August of keeping us as safe as we can possibly be in our building. So we're in a really good position. The only guy that was a little bit dinged up was Justin Butcher, and Justin's practiced all week. So, we're as close at 7 weeks in to full strength as we're going to be.
Coach, I was going to ask you one final question, and a lot of times I'll ask coaches this as, we get through the first half of the season. Huntsville's such a unique community, wonderful folks. I want to ask you, just from an administrator standpoint, a coaching standpoint, how much has this community meant to Huntsville ISD and to your program, and not just football, Coach, but all of athletics at the high school? Just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about the community briefly.
Well, this is a very unique community, but all, quote, small towns that are one high school towns, since I've been in Texas, that's the only type of school that I've been in where, you got one school, you got one high school, you got a big community that there's a lot of history. I was actually at the gas station the other day and had a man come up to me I never met, never seen him before, and he asked me, he said, "Are you Coach Southern?" I said, "Yes, I am." And he played for Joe Clements, and just the idea of, he said, "Coach, I don't come to games, but I love the fact that they're live stream." He said, "I've watched y'all all year," and he said, "I am so proud not only of what you've done and what the kids have done and all that, but, he said, we've got Hornet pride back." And, those kinds of things for me, I've been doing this a long time, and I understand the value of a successful athletic program. There's a lot of excitement. Our girls volleyball is going tomorrow night, first round of the playoffs, and they're playing Marshall High School. So, there's a lot of excitement, even though you've got a quote pandemic and a lot of stuff that's out of our control. But I think this community, I think they understand. I think they value when you have a disciplined, structured program. I know Dr. Shepard and our school board value that. And our kids are the ones that need to be praised for that, because they have embraced the things that a coach needs, because people say all the time, well, kids are different. Kids aren't different. They're the same as they've always been. The circumstances surrounding them are very different. But kids want you to discipline them. They want you to love them, and they want you to tell them, we're going to practice at this time, and if you're not here, I'm going to punish you. And our kids have responded to that, and I think we've got some of the best kids, and I think this community deserves a program like this, and we're very proud of it. I'm very proud of it from a personal standpoint, but I also know it's important to this community.
Well, Coach, we certainly appreciate all that you do. And, I don't want to be punished, Coach. So we want to make sure that when I do the show that we go on at 6:30 when we say our, so I don't want to be punished, Coach. So, well, Coach, again, appreciate all you do. Looking forward to the game coming up on Friday. And again, thank you for your time, Coach. Looking forward to, hopefully being back in person next week as well.
All right. Thanks, Rob.
Once again, that was head coach Rodney Southard, your Huntsville Hornet football coach, also the athletic director here at Huntsville ISD. We're going to step aside. We'll take a break. We've got some more interviews. We're going to hear from some of our student athletes. We'll talk to Cody McLaren first, and then we'll hear from Cam Cole after that. Stay with us, friends. This is the Hornet Nation Coaches Show on KSAM, presented by True Texas Barbecue. We'll be right back here in just a few moments. Well, welcome back, friends, to the Hornet Nation Coaches Show. I'm Rob Hipp, sports director, play-by-play voice of the Huntsville Hornets. and having a lot of fun here tonight. Even though we're doing it remotely, like to be in person, but doing this one again remotely tonight. Want to make sure that we give a heartfelt thank you to all of our sponsors, including True Texas Barbecue, who is helping to make this coach's show possible all season long. A big thank you to Vicky and her staff and all that they do at HEB and True Texas Barbecue. Here's we start our third break, segment 3, our interview with some of our student athletes. First one that we'll bring on today is senior linebacker Cody McLaren. Cody, let me see if I can unmute you here, man. You may have to unmute your microphone first, and then we'll bring you on, Cody. So if you can unmute, there we go. Cody, what's going on, young man? How you doing tonight?
I'm well. How about you?
I'm doing wonderful, man. So, not in person, but this will work, won't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Well, how's the season? I like to have a little casual conversation first before we start asking you the hard questions, man. How's the season been so far, Cody? What have you been excited about? What's been going on, man?
It's been really fun, getting to hang out with all the guys, and winning, it's been a ride this year, having the COVID and then, not even getting to know if, your senior year, you're not going to get to play football and then you get to come in and, you're just winning. It's just having fun and getting to know some of the younger guys like AJ and Cam and Calvin, it's exciting. It's been real fun riding along with them, and so
just making it happen, man. And you guys are, you're taking care of that this year. And of course, Cody, last year you played on the team. This year, a senior. Before we talk a little bit more football, though, you've been in Huntsville since first grade now?
Yes, sir. I moved here in first grade and been a part of Huntsville for about 10 years now. And coming up, getting to watch the Hornets. Before Coach Southern was here, like Coach he was talking about the pride, and before he came, you didn't really see a lot of winning, and then when he came, he kind of turned it around, and it was exciting to be that young man to come up later on and win, to bring back the Huntsville name for the Hornets, and not being a part of this community and then making it an effect. It's just amazing.
What is, this year things have been, there's been a lot of success, still a lot of football left though. Don't ever want to get ahead of yourself, of course, but what are some changes that you've noticed this year from last year from when you played, Cody?
Well,
as far as on the football team and those kind of things in a positive way.
Yes, sir. We got a lot of young kids, but they're bought in. Everyone's buying in, and they're taking the coaching. They're not fighting back. Before Southern, they didn't really have that connection, and we're connecting, and we're all together, and it's just rolling, and then everyone's buying into the program. And then you look at the freshmen and the JV, and they're just winning as well. So you got younger groups coming up, seeing that, and then the program's just going to build on from that.
And and I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to talk about, these other teams, and even all the way down through the junior high. They have been playing so exceptionally well this season, and now they have you guys as role models to look up to. And I wanted to ask you, you're a senior this year as a linebacker, of course, on the defense. You touched the ball on the offense a few times as well. Talk a little bit about your role on the team.
My role on the team would be, helping the younger, the newer, like the few kids that haven't had that varsity experience. We have Cam and all of them on the offense. They were on JV last year, and they get to come up, and they're replacing 34 seniors that we lost last year, and then being the role model for them as well, just like Ed and Brian and all of them have to be for the young defensive line, coming up to show them. It's just a big role that we've got to take on to lead these kids to keep the program going.
Cody, Josh Griswold, the Huntsville item here. You mentioned those 34 seniors that left. You just mentioned, I know that's what everyone was talking about before the season, but, talk about the leadership of this group. There's a good mix of seniors as well as younger guys on the team. What's it been like for y'all? Who's kind of stepped in and filled the void? Has it been, one or two guys, or has it been more of kind of a collective effort with everybody on the team?
Well, you're always going to have like one or two with the voice, but I think as collectively as a senior group, we have all stepped up into like a leadership role, and we're not really using our voice, but we're buying in and showing that if we buy in, that it helps. And, everyone at a different level. Like Tank, I would take Tank for an example. You know, he wasn't with us last year, but he's coming in and coming back since he didn't play last year and just stepping up into that role to be a leader and help showing the younger kids that, you know, hey, you don't have to just sit out and you can come up and be a leader. And I mean, he's taking a big role. And Brian and Ed on the D line are taking up for the JV and the freshman D line as they were with us last week in Madisonville, and they were just helping them out, you know. So it's not just one or two of us; it's all of us coming in and helping.
Right. You know, as a defense, I think 19 turnovers on the season. I think 9 interceptions, 10 fumble recoveries, and then I think 39 sacks, if I'm reading that correctly. One of the most dominant defenses I've ever seen, you know, at this level. For you, you know, what's your favorite part about being a part of this group? You know, what makes it fun to play for the Huntsville Hornet defense?
The excitement when you see us get the turnover, and then you just see everyone just, you know, running off the field, you know, jumping with the coaches. I think that's got to be one of the funnest, you know, moments out there or with this team, is because you just see the coaches' eyes get about, you know, as big as a baseball out there, you know, and then everyone else just jumping up and the fans just going loud. It's just, I mean, it's awesome to hear that.
Well, Lake Creek coming up on Friday. What are you excited about, Cody? What are you looking forward to the most about this game? You know, you've only got 3 games left, and this one is a very important game against a very tough Lake Creek team. What are you looking forward to?
Yes, sir. You know, Lake Creek is going to be one of the tougher games this year. They got the best rushing, but, you know, as you said earlier, we got the best rushing defense. But, you know, they're not the same as they were last year. They've got their sophomore quarterback. I know y'all were talking about that earlier. Watching film on him and the starter both have throw an amazing ball. Like, they can put it in places that most kids can't. And for where he's at as a sophomore, it's going to be tough to defend against him. But coach has been preparing us all week and going in and looking. I think we're prepared. You know, we've got calls, we've got our stuff ready. So
great. We're talking to Cody McLaren here. I'll bring Josh back on. He may have another question for you, Cody.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Cody, obviously, you know, Huntsville's had some really dominant defenses these past couple seasons. Kind of seems like what the team's prided itself on throughout these past 2 playoff runs. What would you say, if you had to pinpoint one thing, is the thing that makes this Huntsville defense so dangerous?
You cut out a little bit. Can you repeat that, please?
Yeah. I was just saying, you know, what is it, you know, about this year's particular group on the defense that makes y'all so dangerous?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm having a little technical difficulties.
Sorry. Can you hear me okay, Cody, or not? Are you cutting out?
Yeah,
maybe. See, we get this was fun. You know, you never know what's going to happen in the world of IT. Cody, this is why I got out of the IT business after 15 years, you know, with the technical issues. Try to, I'm just kidding with you, man. Try to just disconnect and then reopen your phone back up, and we'll see if we can get you back on.
Yes, sir.
For just a second. So we'll try that because we did have a few last questions. So yeah, just close it and then reopen it, Cody.
Yes, sir.
And we're seeing if we'll get him back on here in just a second. But Josh, you know, you talk to these young men, and I've seen these kids grow so much in just my short time that I've been here and only calling, you know, 6 games, Josh. It's been incredible to see how much these young guys have grown, how much they've matured, and especially this year with what they've been able to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of obstacles been thrown at them, you know, whether it be COVID, you know, having games canceled on you to start the season off, you know, whatever it may be. But it seems like they've always rallied at every point of adversity. And, you know, we weren't really sure what to expect. You know, we had faith in the program just with the way things have been going under Coach Southern. But, you know, with so many new guys, you didn't really know what you were going to get until that first snap happened. But, you know, I've been all in all impressed. And, you know, in my opinion, just personally, I think in my 3 years of covering this team, this might be the best one yet.
Might be. Cody, can you you may have to unmute. Can you hear us okay now?
Yes, sir.
Good thing I don't charge for tech support anymore, by the way. It's free. So, well, Cody, just a last couple of questions here as we finish up here with Cody McLaren, the senior linebacker. Cody, what does it mean to you? I always ask you guys this. And so, see, when you get interviewed later in the season, it gets a little easier because you may know some of the questions. What does it mean to you to be a Huntsville Hornet, man? What does that mean, putting on that Huntsville Hornet jersey?
It means to, I know that's our slogan this year, but the standard. We've had 3 or 4 great years before us, and, every senior year they just improve. And just the standard that we have to be held to. And then, to be a Hornet, it's just, it's that big man on the campus, and, just it's amazing because, not very many people get to do that and this and everything, and it's a good feeling.
What are some of your, I like to ask you the last few questions here. What are some of your hobbies, man? What do you like to do outside of football?
I know y'all pretty much keep up with the baseball. I'm a baseball player for Coach Jennings and doing that, and then outside of that, I work a little bit and hunt and fish and all that. So
awesome, man. And it's getting cooler outside. It's good weather to be out doing those things, man.
Yes, sir.
Well, future plans. Where do you want to be after school? It's your senior year. What are you thinking about? Where would you like to be, young man?
I've talked to Coach Southern about this a little bit. Hopefully I can get either baseball or football. That's what I'm really shooting for. But one of my big goals is to hopefully one day become a coach and coach somewhere, preferably the college level, baseball. But, I would take football too, because and maybe even come back here and coach. So it just depends on where my life takes me.
Well, it's like I was saying earlier, you guys are leaving a tremendous legacy, even as young men, 18, 17 years old in high school. You're leaving such a legacy already where a lot of these young guys are looking up to you. Cody, final question from me. The camera is on you, of course, tonight. We're right here talking to you. There is 2.8 million people that just signed on to Facebook. It's the most viewers we've ever had. 2.8 million joining us. Who do you want to send a little love to tonight? A little shout out, if you will, to anyone wherever you'd like, man. With those 2.8 million people watching.
Yes, sir. My mom, my dad, and then my grandparents that travel all the way from Belton every game to see me play.
Awesome. Well, Cody, we appreciate you, man. Good luck the rest of the season. We'll be cheering you on up from the broadcast booth, and we're so proud of you guys and all your teammates. Keep up the good work, young man.
Sure. Thank you.
Once again, that was Cody McLaren, the senior linebacker. We'll step aside and take a break. When we come back, we'll talk to Cam Cole, the junior wide receiver. Stay with us, friends, as we continue the Hornet Nation Coaches Show here on the all-new Hornet Nation Broadcast Network. We'll be right back in just a few moments. Stay with us. All right, we are back here in our fourth break as we continue the Hornet Nation Coaches Show. I'm Rob Hipp, Sports Director with 1017 KSAM. As always, we want to thank our good friends at True Texas Barbecue for their generous support in helping to make this show possible this year. We're now joined by the junior wide receiver, Cam Cole. Cam, how's it going tonight, young man? Can you see us okay?
Yes, sir.
Hey, well, good to see you, man. How are things going, man?
I'm doing good.
You've been out to some of the shows in person. How have you enjoyed them so far this year, man?
I've been enjoying them great.
Did you know eventually you probably were thinking, man, my time's about to come. I'm going to be on the show soon. Did you know that was coming, man? Well, Coach reaches out. We don't have anything to do with it, Cam. It's Coach, by the way, just to let you know. So, but we appreciate you being here. And man, I just want to tell you thank you so much for coming out and supporting your team, man. That's a great leadership role that you have on the team. And I appreciate you as only a junior. Talking more about that, Cam, how long have you been in Huntsville? Tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
I've been in Huntsville since I was in pre-K.
So a long time, man. And what's it been like, growing up in this community with the support that you have from the Hornets? Talk a little bit about that and how much that's meant to you.
It's been great. I've been knowing I've been knowing people all my life and stuff.
And did you have, I've never asked you this. You've had brother with some family members that have went through school here? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Awesome, man. Well, you're only a junior, but you've definitely stepped into a big leadership role. Just talk a little bit more about your role on the team as wide receiver and what that's been like so far this season, Cam.
As a receiver, I can catch the ball and stuff, and I do whatever what the coaches need me to do.
And what do you think? What do you think this year? You guys have had so much success so far. What do you think has been a big part of that success, young man? Just focusing on the game and playing, right?
Yes, sir.
Awesome, man. Well, you've been here since pre-K. You've seen a lot of great things happen in Huntsville. What is, to you, I wanted to ask you, what's been one of the most exciting things so far this season? You've had some great games. Your whole team has. You have. What's been some of the most exciting things about this season so far for you?
Exciting things like we winning a lot, and that's it.
And what was probably, there's been some big victories. What has been one of the biggest ones that you've enjoyed so far this year?
CE game.
That was a big one, man. We almost lost it. It seemed my voice is getting kind of hoarse because I lost my voice that night, and it's been lost now. What are we going on, like 6 weeks now, maybe, I guess, since that game?
Yeah.
I still don't have my voice back yet, Cam, so I'm trying to get it back, man. Well, Josh Criswell is joining us from the Huntsville. I want to bring you on. Josh may have a few questions for you, Cam.
Hey, what's going on, Cam?
Good.
Hey, so the offense has really picked things up this year. Got AJ in at quarterback. For you said you've been here since pre-K. I'm sure you've been playing with AJ and a lot of those receivers for a while. How exciting is it to play with that group of guys? Because I know that Matthew Southern and those receivers had that these past 2 years where they were all kind of one group since they were in 7th, 8th grade. What's it like playing with so many guys that you've known for such a long time?
It's been fun and stuff. Like, I got the connection with AJ. Like, if I tell him to throw me a ball, he'll throw it to me. Like, stuff like that.
And what do you think it is? What is it about AJ that's allowed him to connect with, y'all so well as receivers? How much have you seen him grow over these past couple years?
I think AJ grew a lot. Like, he grew from his mistakes and stuff.
I gotcha. And, obviously your first year playing big minutes on the varsity squad, what's it like being out there on Friday night? I imagine it's a little bit of a different vibe than whenever y'all are, playing over at the high school stadium, whenever you have all the fans out there, what's it like playing out there on Friday nights?
Like, it's a much faster pace and more like competition and stuff.
For sure. Awesome.
Well, we're talking to Cam Cole, the junior wide receiver here on the Hornet Nation Coaches Show. Cam, appreciate you being with us. You're having to go to Madisonville, man. I wanted to ask you, not able to finish out here in Huntsville, but Madisonville playing there, does that give you a little bit of extra time maybe to prepare on the bus ride, those kind of things?
Yes, sir.
And you guys have been over there and already practiced a little bit, or you took a look at the facility, correct?
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Buc-ee's, you want to stop over at Buc-ee's on the way back, man?
Probably.
All right. You've been to Buc-ee's before, right?
Yes, sir.
What's your favorite thing to get at Buc-ee's to eat, man?
No, I really haven't ate there yet.
They got these little orange slices, and then they have something, I forget what it is. It's called like the beaver nuggets, man. You got to get the beaver nuggets, dude. All right. So, well, Cam, I just wanted to ask you, man, as you're continuing, you're only a junior. You still got, a lot of football left this year. We got a whole nother year coming up. What have you thinking about your future, man? Have you thought about where you want to be after you're a senior? Because you still got some time. No, I know a lot of times you think about it and you're like, man, I haven't thought about it too much because you're only a junior. But coming from you, where do you want to be? What would you like to be doing after school, man?
Hopefully go play college football.
And who are some of your role models that you've looked up to, man?
Jalen Griffin and Tyree Carter.
And if you could meet, I was going to ask you the next question. If you could meet anybody, who would you want to meet?
Probably DeAndre Hopkins.
There you go, man. All right. Well, I want to ask you just a couple last questions. As I ask all of you guys, Cam, what does it mean to you to be a Huntsville Hornet?
It's awesome being a Hornet. Like, these guys are my brothers and stuff. I've been playing with them since I was like younger, and it's been anything I can ask for.
That's awesome, man. Well, we're looking a big game coming up on Friday, of course, versus Lake Creek. What are you looking forward to most about that game? What are you excited about?
Win and hopefully score my first touchdown.
All right, man. We're looking forward to that. We know that you can do it. Finally, before we let you go, folks out there watching tonight, the number's up to 3.2 million now. It was only 2.3. That another million have joined, Cam, since you got on here, dude. Who do you want to send a shout out to tonight?
My mom and dad and my teammates that's watching.
Awesome. Well, Cam, we appreciate you, young man, and everyone in Huntsville. We're extremely proud of you and all you guys. We're excited, and we're looking forward to the game coming up Friday. Thank you for being with us, young man.
You up?
All right, well, that was Cam Cole joining us. Always great to hear from these young men. Such great student athletes that we've got here in Huntsville. And if you see these guys around town, tell them how much you appreciate them. I know with COVID, there's been a lot of lockdown, of course, but if you do happen to come in contact with these guys or talk to them, let them know how much you appreciate them and what they're doing. Win or lose, these Hornets are amazing and such great kids that we get to talk to. We'll step aside and take a break. When we come back, we will wrap up the Hornet Nation Coaches Show as we will hear from the booster president, or not the booster president, but we will hear from Brian Carroll tonight. We'll talk to him here in just a little bit. Stay with us, friends, as we continue the Hornet Nation Coaches Show. We'll be right back after this short break. All right, well, it's our fifth and final break tonight. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Rob Hipp, the sports director, play-by-play voice of your Huntsville Hornets, and a privilege to bring you this show every single Wednesday. Hopefully next week we'll be back in action over at True Texas Barbecue. Again, want to thank Vicki and her wonderful staff for all that they do in the Huntsville community and for a big part of making this coach's show happen. We couldn't do it without them. So again, thank you to her, and also thank you to our season presenting sponsor, our good friends over with Cam. Appreciate them and all that they do here with the Huntsville community. But I wanted to bring in Mr. Brian Carroll. Brian, good to see you, man. How are things going tonight?
Oh, doing good. Thank you, Rob. How are you, sir?
Hey, doing wonderful, man. Missed you guys last week. Josh did a great job on the call, but looking forward to being back out there. And again, I was talking earlier, we got so many friends in this community that are helping to make things possible this year. Appreciate Kirby and those fine friends over at First Financial. We couldn't do it without the partners, and you guys at the Booster Club have a lot of community support that are helping you out, just like we do here with First Financial Bank and, of course, True Texas Barbecue. Talk a little bit just about the support that you've had this year and some of the things that you've been thankful for with the Booster Club, man. Because even during this COVID, things have it's been down a little bit for a lot of folks, but we've still been able to get out there and make things happen.
Yes, sir. We're greatly appreciative of all the community support that we've had this year. Actually, though, our membership is a little bit down, and but that's all right. We're doing good. We have a successful program once again. So we're happy to be there to support our team. We're happy to be a supporter of the football game on Friday nights to help make sure that the people that can't get out or don't want to get out in the community is able to see the game broadcast on KSAM and on the Hornet Sports Nation. So
awesome, man. Well, Brian, there may be folks watching tonight and they're wanting to know, hey, how can I get involved with the Booster? We'll talk about that in just a little bit. Talk a little bit just about your position and your role with the Booster Club, man. You've been helping out for a while. Tell us a little bit about your official title and your role and what you do with the club.
Okay. I've been active in the Booster Club for 3 years now, or this is my third year. Currently the vice president. I do whatever we need to get done. I organize and kind of run the concession stands for us, make sure that we have products ready to sell for games. We also kind of been in charge of program sales. We sell the programs this year. Normally that's done by the cheerleaders at the football games, but due to COVID reasons, they were unable to sell this year. So Coach Southern asked if we would sell the programs for the games. So we've been doing that also, and that's a lot of fun because when we sell the programs at the games, there's Coach Southern always signs a program, and whoever buys that program, if you get Coach Southern's signature in there, you win $100.
Oh man,
So,
don't be. Nobody better be trying to forge his signature either.
that's right. And we've made several happy people so far this year, so we're looking forward to that. It's fun, just being a part, being there. We're there a lot. We give some of our time and stuff, but it's enjoyable to be there for the kids, to help them, to help the program. Anything that the coaches need us to do, we're glad to try to help do. So.
Well, doing incredible work, man. And, you guys are running concessions at other games and just doing so much. There's a lot that goes on. Once I joined, I've always known that there's a lot of inner workings with the Booster Club because I was a member of our club back in Georgetown. But now being here, getting involved with you guys, and there's so much work that goes in to making things happen. And so appreciate all that y'all do. You talked earlier, sorry about that, bump my microphone. You talked earlier about the program guide. These are really cool. I mean, this is next level stuff, for a community that is just going all in. This is what it's all about. And you can get these. You will have them at Madisonville for the final 2 of the 3 games, the home games, correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct. And it is a new program every week with the updated listing of the other team's players also included in there. So it's not the same program every week. It is very top notch for a school of our size to have a program of this caliber. And we thank the community for their support of our programs.
Yeah, when you started mentioning this earlier, that's why I stepped away for a second. You probably wonder, where did Rob go, man? He's gonna make me carry this the rest of the night, and I had to go run and get this because it is just jam packed with information about the coaches, the kids, the schedules, and then, as you said, it changes every week as far as information about the upcoming game. At the high school level, man, it's rare to see this kind of publication. I'll be honest with you. And I've been around a lot of high schools, a lot of great high schools, a lot of wonderful booster clubs, but the work that goes into this, I mean, look at this, man. It's everything you can imagine, all about the Hornets right here, packed in this guide. How much do y'all sell these for, by the way?
They are $3.
Man, it probably costs more than that to print them. I mean, this is awesome, man.
Yeah. Like I said, we thank the community support for helping us be able to publish such an awesome program.
Absolutely. Well, Brian, just real quick, briefly, as we're talking to the vice president of the Hornet Quarterback Club, Brian, what are some of the biggest needs right now that you guys have from the Booster Club?
Right now, we have just a handful, 3 games left to work the concession stands that we're working on. But other than that, anybody, I just want to first off say that we meet every Monday night in the Joe Clemens Fieldhouse in the media room, and the public is invited. You do not have to be a member to come out and be a part of the football club. Now, if you want to be a voting member, you have to buy a membership. Our memberships for individuals are $10. Our family memberships are $25. So, but everyone is welcome to come out. We present what's going on with the club. Coach usually comes in, gives us an update about the team. Meetings usually last 30, 45 minutes, and we're over and done. But it's just a great bunch of people come together to support a great program.
And it's super easy to find you guys on Facebook. Just search for Huntsville ISD Hornet Football. I believe that is the page that is kept up to date. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. On Facebook, it's Huntsville Hornet Football.
So there it is right there, Huntsville ISD Hornet Football. Make sure to follow them. If you're on Facebook, you can click that link, and it should pop up in the comments as well for those of you that are on YouTube tonight. Brian, before we let you go, any final comments before we sign off? Man, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the game on Friday, man. I've been like in football, just I don't know if you want to call it, when you're not around it, I've been, depressed, man. I haven't been able to be around the game. We had the bye week last week. I wasn't able to be there the week before that. So I'm ready to get back after it, man. I miss these kids and I miss this football program.
Hey, we're all looking forward to Friday night. But first off, we would like to wish the volleyball team good luck tomorrow night in their first round of the playoffs, because they're part of our school district too, and we support them 100%. Also, we have a JV game tomorrow night. A freshman game here in Huntsville tomorrow night at 5 o'clock. Next Wednesday afternoon, if you're off work, we'll have a JV game at 2 o'clock at the football field. And then, of course, the following week we'll have a Thursday night game the next week also. So there's plenty of football opportunity out there. You can buy your tickets for the football game at hornetnation.org and sting 'em Hornets.
Hey, and Brian, I wanted to mention too, the band is a huge part of
Yes.
the football program, and a big shout out tonight to the Huntsville Hornet Military Marching Band. They received straight ones rating there at the UIL Regional Contest, showing the true Hornet pride. So congratulations to the 2021 senior sweepstakes is what they call it. Again, a big shout out, and what an honor for the Huntsville Hornet Military Marching Band. And Brian, for those that are, of course, we're all on video tonight. We're not on audio here. I wanted to share this. Dr. Trevino had posted these pictures, and I don't think I'll get in trouble for showing these because it's about our kids and just something incredible. I just want to show a couple of these pictures here real quick before we go. And man, how exciting for these kiddos too. You know, we talk about football so much, but again, a big part of what goes on in the program is with the band. There is that UIL trophy plaque there. Check that out, man. That is awesome.
Yeah, congratulations to the band. And tell you what, the band has stepped it up this year. They've been loud when they needed to be loud. When we needed the band there to be playing, they've stepped up their game. This is probably one of the best bands I've seen in a long time as far as supporting our team when in crucial moments and getting the fans into the crowd. The game, man, it's just been awesome.
Yeah, well, congratulations to those guys. Don't want to leave them out. They do such wonderful work there, and a lot goes into it. You know, a lot of times you'll hear of a band with the school. It's just, hey, that's our marching band. But when we talk about the Huntsville band, it's not just the marching band. We're talking about the Huntsville Hornet Military Marching Band. And so, again, congratulations to you guys. And I'm assuming, do you know if the band is going to be at Madisonville?
They are supposed to travel. Yes, sir.
Awesome. So we'll definitely work hard to carry their audio as much as we can also, so you'll be able to hear it and see it on the broadcast. Brian, always good to see you, man. I appreciate all that you do, buddy. You've made me feel welcome and part of the program, and thank you to you and Brandy and everyone else that's a part of the Hornet Nation Quarterback Club, man. It's just exciting and a privilege to be around you guys. Thanks for all you do, brother.
Hey, I appreciate it. I'll bring you up some beaver nuggets.
There you go, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, Cam, I was asking Cam about those, so... we're looking. Stephanie was letting us know, by the way. Appreciate you joining us tonight, Stephanie. She was saying that, yes, they will be there. So, again, appreciate that, Stephanie, and thanks for joining us as well. Well, Brian, that'll do it, buddy. Thanks for being here, man. Appreciate you.
All right, sting them.
Oh, yeah, let's do it. There's nobody else here. It's just you and me. On the count of three, let's do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Sting 'em Hornets. All right. Well, that'll do it for our show, friends. Brian, thanks for being here. Thanks to all of our guests as well. I want to thank KSAM, Steve Ricks, our general manager, Dave Donahue, and all at KSAM who have allowed all of this extensive coverage to be possible, or to help make it possible, and to the school district, Huntsville ISD, for allowing us to be able to do this year. Special thank you again to the students tonight. Appreciate Cam being here with us, as well as Cody. Those are two more awesome young men in the community that we get to hear from. And everyone associated with Huntsville ISD, appreciate all that you do in helping to make things happen, especially Lisa Blackburn. Appreciate you as well, and everyone else. Friends, as I end every single broadcast, I want to remind you tonight that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We need each other. Provide a word of encouragement, lend a hand of support. Somebody out there tonight needs you. We'll see you 7 p.m. pregame, 7:30 kickoff on Friday in Madisonville. It's the Huntsville Hornets looking to extend to 7-0 and remain undefeated as they're down to the final 3 games on the season and hold on to that top rank in district play. We'll see you on Friday. We'll be on the air again, 7 o'clock, 7:30 kickoff. Join myself, Brian Adams, and our entire Hornet Nation broadcast crew. Until then, friends, God bless you, Huntsville. Have a beautiful and wonderful night. Sting 'em Hornets. We'll see you later.